well, still waiting on her official license. I worked in the restaurant industry for about 5 years, and now I'm really excited to start this career. I moved to VA specifically for real estate in January 2020. Well, welcome to the bunch. That's awesome. I have a restaurant background as well. I've been doing real estate for about 3.5 years. Kara raised her hand. She's obviously been in the restaurant industry too. We're a different breed when you've been in the restaurant industry.
Oh, yeah.
It's that background of the grind, right?
Yeah.
So anytime we throw out that term in the weeds, all my restaurant people, you guys know what I mean. Everybody else is just like, is she like mowing the grass? What's going on? So 3.5 years into real estate, I did the bulk of my adult career life in the restaurant industry. Welcome, Samantha, I see you. Making the transition to real estate. So I'm a Sagittarius. I don't know who follows zodiac signs or whatever, but we're a little known for our spontaneity, right? But I don't do anything lightly either. So I thought about it for a good month long before I made the decision to do it. But that sounds like, when you change your career path, because I was a manager and, I had a stable career.
Production clinic.
Yeah. So I made the decision. I didn't make it lightly, but I did make it quickly. And I don't regret any of it. I've tried out a few different brokerages. I am definitely happy where I am. I'm happy with the support that we have from our admin, from our team leader, and honestly, from the other agents that we work with. I have had the experience of working at different brokerages where everybody kind of seems a little snooty kind of thing, and you're not sure who you're comfortable talking to about anything. So I appreciate what we have in our office. And some of y'all, if this is your first brokerage, this may not make any sense to you, but I promise you, if you start trying out other brokerages, it definitely will. And you'll understand why we really do call it a family here, because you genuinely have people here that care. This is already a competitive industry, but this is not in the sense of where you're going to have somebody that's undercutting you or somebody that does not want to see you be successful. That is not a part of our culture. KW is really big about culture. So if y'all don't know enough about KW, I definitely recommend you start doing some Google magic. Just don't take my word for it, and really see what KW puts out there as a culture. People want to try to call it cult-ish, but cult is in culture. So let's see where we go there. But I don't get a cult vibe, but to each his own. But I do drink the Kool-Aid. So I don't know. Let's see. So I'm going to stop with my cheesy jokes and we're going to dive right in. This is a open platform, guys. I want you to interact. We're going to start working through this workbook. It is going to be a 2-day course. And the goal here is to really get you guys with an ironed out plan on what you want to do for 2021 with your career. Anybody that's brand new in real estate, you may feel like, well, Holly, how can I work through this workbook when I don't have any history in real estate? I promise you can, and we're going to cover it. So we're going to dive right in. Again, you can just follow along on my screen. If you have any questions as we get through this, just let me know. I'm here for you, okay? So we're going to talk real briefly about the do not call list. There's so much going on with this, right? And for the longest time in real estate, we had this thing where it's like you do it and then you apologize later kind of thing. Now we don't do it. So do not call on the do not call list, but that does not mean you cannot email. I don't know. It might mean you cannot email. Don't let me lie to you. So do whatever it is that you're comfortable with. If you're going to be making phone calls and reaching out to people and stuff like that, figure out where your level of comfort is. It's hard enough to muster up the courage to do these calls. And if y'all ever want to hear somebody hustle a good phone call, I definitely recommend listening to Nikki. Regina actually does a really great job too. So being around people who are comfortable making phone calls, you definitely want to be around that environment because they get it done. And it does get easier over time. So I don't ever want you to feel like you cannot do it. It's really practice makes perfect. You know, you suit up, you put your thick little layer of skin on when you first get started, and then you just keep it moving. So as far as the do not call list, do it wherever your level of comfort is, but it does definitely say don't call them. Okay, so be careful.
Yeah, definitely don't call. You can email, but do not call. You definitely can email.
Okay.
And yep, you can. Don't call. Don't text. But also twice a month, Nikki and Munesh hold a class and have live calls, and so you can listen to people make calls, and they will coach you on the calls to make. And if you don't have any list to make the calls, they will give you a list. Now you can't take their appointments, right? Because you're pretty new. You're not going to get any appointments from them, but it gives you the skills to do the calls, and it gives you a list to practice the calls on. And they do it twice a month, and that is already on the calendar on our Facebook group.
See, our fearless leader is always here to save us. But yeah, Nikki is definitely somebody I recommend doing it because, for one, I've actually heard her on the phone, and you know, as real estate agents, we try not to take no for an answer, and she has that in her core. Like I have heard her engage in a 15-minute phone call that would have ended off of 2 minutes if the person on the other line had the opportunity to do that. But she'll keep talking to you if you let her. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So in order to know where you're going, you have to know where you are. I'm trying to keep track of your chats, guys, but I'm going to start ignoring it here in a second. So if y'all need to say something, make sure you just, if you're muted, unmute yourself and speak up. All right, so you got to know where you're at today. Like, everybody got into real estate with goals. When I personally got into real estate, I was content with making the same amount of money that I was making at the restaurant industry because I was looking more for the work-life balance and peace of mind versus the financial side of it. I make double that now, so I can never imagine going back to that. Once you start making money, it makes it hard to accept anything less. So that's always a good thing, guys. But you want to know where you're going and where you're trying to be. Let me see. I don't know if y'all can see my little window bar, but I'm trying to move that out of the way so y'all can see my whole screen. So you want to create and use a business plan daily, monthly, annual, and long-term. Like this, you cannot separate this. Like, there's no substitution for this. There's no easy way around this. So if you're not somebody that likes to keep track of stuff and write things down, you're going to be limiting yourself in the long run, because how else are you going to keep track of your goals if you're not keeping track of your goals? Like, how are you going to reach them if you don't know what you're actually doing? So you want to work through this and make sure that you have all of these in place. So this is what we're going to start calculating. Now we can go through this and we can start, and we're going to talk about this a little bit right now, and we're going to see where everybody is. Some of you new agents aren't going to be able to answer some of these questions, but I do want to kind of get a good feedback. What is your goal for 2021? What would you like to make this year? You can throw out any number you want. I don't really care. I'll go first. So I want to make 200,000 this year. Big 200. Anybody else?
Me too, girl. Me too.
500 for me.
Oh, hey, Nikki.
Yeah, the big numbers. Big
We
money.
have two of us here, so we'll take 500.
Yeah, Nikki and Munesh have to do at least 20 million. They have to double their productivity this year. I'll speak for them.
There you go. There you go.
I need to get off my couch.
Who else?
I would like to make, I don't know, I was listening to your goals last year, and I'd like to at least do your goals last year. I'm going to strive big.
Did you want to share what you made last year, or did I miss that part?
No, what you made last year.
Oh, what I
I'm
made
gonna strive big. I want to
Yes.
be like Holly. You're gonna be my idol.
That's a good idol right there.
I want to be like you.
I didn't put on my idol face this morning, so bear with me. So just so you guys know, when I left the restaurant industry, I was making 50,000 a year. So my goal in real estate was to make 50,000 a year. So don't ever feel like your goal is too small. Like you hear these big numbers like Nikki and stuff like that. Like those numbers will be your numbers eventually. So even if you're just trying to break even, that is still a very valid goal. So don't ever feel like you don't have big enough goals to be in this industry. That's absolutely not true, because as you reach your goals, you will create more goals and you'll just continue growing from there. So I know some of y'all are being radio silent right now, but I just want you to understand this is not, it's like Planet Fatness. It's totally the judgment-free zone. Like, you know, bagels and pizza to lose
That's right. All day long.
I
I'll
was
take
using the chat. So in the chat, I said this year I was going to go for 55, right? So not huge goals, but that was what I was doing in warehousing last year. So I want to be at least break even, and then I will go above and beyond that. I'll double that the next year.
Excellent. Excellent. Your goal should always be to double your numbers the following year, guys. Because why not? That's excellent. So what we're going to do,
Why
guys,
not?
why not? So when we have our goal on what we're trying to make, now we can actually put our template together and work backwards from our goals. And that's really what this workbook is focused on. So I don't know how many of you guys like to read, but I am a nerd. And this workbook was based off of this book. If you don't have it, you should get it. So this book
And your team
is,
leader will give it to you for free. Go figure.
yeah, you know what? If you got a team leader that's giving you like free books, like this book is like $20 on Amazon. 25, my bad. It says 25 back here. So
I can't see what you're holding up. So can you? I don't know, for some reason my video turned off. Can you type out what that is?
Agent by Gary Keller.
All right. I'm going to put that on my Audible. Thanks.
Millionaire real estate agent.
And I heard your team leader will also give you shift. She's so cool.
Yeah, so Thomasina is a great resource for free books. So just go say hi, tell her she's pretty, and ask for a book. So this workbook is based off of that, and it basically helps you, for one, put your goals out there, guys, because we're here to dream big. We're not going to put a cap on our ceiling. Every time we get an obstacle, we're going to work around it and bust through it and just keep growing. And that's really what Keller Williams is about as a brand, but that's why you got into real estate. I don't want a single person here to tell me that they got into real estate to not make any money. Like it might be a hobby for some of y'all, but it's a passion, and it has to be a passion if you want to be successful. So if your passion is driven by the fact that you can make money or that you can help people sell houses or whatever the case may be, just hone in on that and let's create our goals based off of that. So we've already got this first blank that we want to fill out. We're going to put that on there. Now, business expenses, you new agents, y'all probably have no idea what your business expenses are going to be, but let's think about what goes into being a real estate agent. How many of you guys had to pay hurrah dues? Everybody speaking at once. I know.
All of us.
Every single one of us, right?
I
So
need to.
we have to be a realtor with hurrah or NAR in order for us to be able to work with Keller Williams, because they want all of our agents held at a higher standard. In addition to that, we have MLS dues. How many MLSs is everybody a part of?
At least one.
One.
At least one, right? Some of us want to be a part of multiple ones. If anybody is licensed in North Carolina, you have to be a part of a North Carolina MLS to do business down there. Some of us are striving to take over Williamsburg. So I personally have 3 MLSs that I'm a part of. And I don't, not saying that you have to be a part of every MLS in the whole wide world in order to be successful, but you have to know your market and you have to be committed. So if you're going to break into a particular market like North Carolina, you want to go all in. You don't want to set yourself short. Additional business expenses could be if you are generating any kind of marketing, like if you're doing Facebook leads, or if you're investing in Zillow, or your signs, guys, if you pay for your open house signs or your for sale signs, all of those things are business expenses. What are some other types of business expenses?
Mailers.
Mailers, yeah.
What about gas?
Gas, absolutely. Anybody else? Nikki, what have you guys spent some money on? I know y'all spent some money.
What about coaching?
Coaching, absolutely.
Advertising.
Nikki, your voice got deep on me. What kind of advertising have you guys invested in?
Facebook and area and yep, mailers, Facebook advertising. Yep.
So it's a good idea to just figure out anything that goes towards you being licensed, your business cards, your name tag, your clothes, all of these things are business expenses. So if you don't know exactly what those numbers are, just start paying attention to it more. I know when I'm busy that I can literally be filling up my gas tank every 2 to 3 days, and that's about $22 a pop, right? And when I'm not busy, then, Netflix is getting burned out too. So we'll see. Also, let's talk about your average commission. Does anybody know what the average house price is right now in Virginia Beach?
285,000.
285,000. So that's just shy of a $9,000 3% commission, right?
Yep.
So what are some other areas? Samantha, you're mostly Hampton. What's the average house price that you've done?
The average is 200 in Hampton.
Seems a little high, are you sure? That's
I don't know. For mine, have been about.
yeah, she's been
200.
getting all those bigger deals in Hampton. I would probably
At Farmington,
175, but I don't know. All right, so now, so you have your average commission. So when you're doing your average commission, you could go from your history, right? Because if you're a higher end agent who's selling 500,000 houses, then you're not doing average in that market area, you're doing average for you. So if you have that history, that's the number that you're going to put here. If you don't have that history, let's focus in on the market that you want to target. Now, I sell all of Hampton Roads, guys, but you got to start somewhere. So you want to focus in. If it's near your house, it's near your house. If it's, over the water, it's over the water. Wherever you want to focus your market on, that's where you're going to figure out what the average commission price is, and then you're going to go from there. Now, these next numbers are only going to pertain to the people who have been doing business. So if you cannot fill these out, don't feel any kind of way. Nikki and Manish, how many listing appointments did you guys go on last year?
Last year we were more buyer heavy, but we probably did. Going to appointments, I would say at least 20 to 30.
20 to 30.
Yep.
Let's go with 30 on the high end. And that's for listings, or is that for buyers?
No, listings.
Okay. And how many of those did actually turn into actual listings? Do you have 100% conversion rate?
Last year we didn't, because the market was such, there was so much uncertainty, and it's not the best thing to say, but a lot of FSBOs were selling themselves too. And we did get about 12 to 15 of them.
Fantastic.
15, yeah.
15 out of 30, right? So we're talking about doubling our numbers, right? We go on
Yep.
twice.
That's great.
Get half the numbers. Kara, how many buyer appointments did you go on last year? Are you still with me? She's not even on here no more. My heart's broken. Samantha, how many buyer's appointments did you go on?
I think I went on 4 last year.
4, and how many of them turned into actual buyers that you ended up working with?
3 of them.
3 of them. Now, how many people, because you did home buying seminars too, so how many people ended up showing up to those home buying seminars that you invited? Because those count as buyer's appointments.
Hang on a second, sorry. I would say, I think 3 of them did.
Okay.
I think all 3 were from the seminars.
Okay. And so how many houses did you sell, and what was the ratio buyers versus listings last year?
I had 4 buyers last year and 2 listings.
2 listings. And how many of you guys are keeping track of your database? Has anybody started keeping track of people and their phone numbers, and what tools are you utilizing to keep track of them?
Hey, it's Una.
Hi.
I'm actually going into my boss's office, who's not here, because I feel like I had something to say.
Let's say it, girl. Let's hear it.
Wait, what was your question again? Oh my gosh, I'm such a...
No. Right now I'm asking about how many names you have in your database and how you're keeping track of.
Oh, yes. So literally anybody who shows any interest or any likelihood that they may want to at some point utilize my services to buy or sell a home, I'm putting them in my database.
So if they
Anybody that I'm
you, like you're
Yeah.
getting there.
I'm like putting everybody in because you never know. I mean, you may just, I've been following up with people who had interest at the two open houses that I did, just to let them know, hey, I'm still here. I'm still thinking of you. You just never know where an opportunity is going to arise.
And what does your follow-up phone call consist of? Because agents' number one problem that we hear is the follow-up. A lot of people forget to follow up, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable following up. So what do you do when you follow up?
So unfortunately, I haven't been able to speak directly to those people when I'm following up from, like, let's say just the open house people. But I am so when I'm leaving a message, hi, Una Barber from Keller Williams. I was just thinking about you today. One of my tactics is I saw a property that was like the property that you seemed interested in, or, something to catch their interest when I'm leaving that message. So, or giving them a fact about, oh, so this many homes have sold in that area since we met at that open house, just something to give them a level of comfortability that I know what I'm talking about, even though I'm new and they don't know that though.
So how are you getting that information with you being new? Where are you finding that information from?
From MLS, from RAIN.
Right there on the dashboard, guys. You can literally pull the stats for that particular area.
Yeah, because if you look up all the sold houses, then you can figure that information out.
Absolutely. Now, how are you keeping track of your database? Is anybody utilizing Command? Cricket?
Not as much.
So actually, everyone that I have gotten this far, especially from like that Power Hour day, everybody that I sent a message to, I put all those fools straight in Command. Yes, I did.
Perfect. Nikki and Manish, what do you guys use? Do you have a platform?
We are using Vulcan 7, and we use the old-fashioned way, have a little black box with cards in them. But that is just for like short-term following up. But long-term, everything is in our Keller Williams. I mean, not in Command, but in our older system.
Yeah. So the black box with the index cards. If you guys have chatted with Bill Crespo, that is the dude that he hates my index box because mine's flimsy, right? He wants the big bulky But when you're making your calls, it's good to have a little note card with quick information on there. That way you can just catalog it in your index box and you just pull out your cards for the day that you're making the calls and you just burn through them. It's good to stay organized from the beginning because a lot of times when we're trying to make phone calls, we're trying to organize ourselves at the time of doing phone calls. But if you have your list already prepared ahead of time, you can make more phone calls in a shorter period of time and turn and burn and get those 30 appointments that translates into 15 listings. And how many units did you guys close last year?
We did 39.
39 units.
We were hitting 40. One fell through last minute, but 39 confirmed closed.
Well, I think we can round up and still call it 40. So Command is still pretty new, guys, but the way that it is set up, it's actually going to be very, very useful for you guys because you can literally do everything from Command for your database. If it's a hot buyer ready to go, you'll have alerts every single day to let you know to follow up with them or how often you want to have those alerts. If it's a previous buyer or seller that you've worked with, you can send out holiday cards. You can send out, whatever it is that you can wrap your mind around doing for your previous clients or your current clients. Command is set up for that. It's got a little tweaks or whatever that needs to happen, but it overall is a really good database. So if you're not putting them in Command yet, go ahead and start putting them in there. Have a backup though. I've seen horror stories where people have entered everything into their database and then it disappears. And I don't know if they ever get it back. It's Facebook, so you only see the problem, you don't see the solution. So I don't know if they ever get their database back, but just do yourself a favor and always back up your information. That way you don't have to cry when all that hard work just disappears, right? But keep track of what you're doing, because if you keep track of it now, being able to figure out where you need to make improvements later is going to be a lot easier versus taking some really good guesses. Does that make sense for everybody so far? Anybody have any questions yet? Okay. All right. So my team consists of me and whoever, so if you have an assistant, Nikki and Manish are a tag team. Some of us have transaction coordinators. Some of us have assistants. Some of us have a buyer's agents where we do the listings. Whatever your team consists of, that's what you would put here because you have to take them into consideration. Nikki and Manish know that they want to make 500 because there's two of them and they need to double their numbers because they feel like they can do twice the work. Totally makes sense. All right, let's keep moving forward. Where am I going? So what is everybody's, I already got your financial goals for the following year, but let's talk about bigger than that. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to drive your career to go? What are you trying to do with this real estate life? Is it opening the platform for something different? Is it getting you out of a current job? Is it something that you're just dabbling in because it sounds fun? What's everybody's goals? You want to be your own brokerage?
So I kind of wanted to work for myself and was tired of working in warehousing where you have no say so whatsoever. You're, working 15, 16-hour days. So if I'm going to work that many hours in a day, it's going to be for something that I want to do that pays me at the end of the day and makes people smile, which is helping people with dreams. And I'm about that life.
That's a fantastic goal. Who's next? I know you guys got goals. Don't be afraid. Okay.
Our goal is to provide a shelter over everyone's head.
Ah.
Well, that sounds like world peace right there.
I love
at least in Virginia. At least in Virginia, yeah. And everything else follows, the satisfaction, money, everything else follows. You just got to keep your, your client's best interest in front of you and move forward. It takes hard work, but everything else will follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I would like to have a successful real estate career this year that helps me keep my dance studio business together and my instructors and get money together out of my real estate career to build my own dance studio that I don't have to rent from somebody anymore. The
Amazing.
hefty one.
That's a great goal. So you're using real estate to support your passion in dance. Is that correct?
Yes, and not just support it, but to make it successful once COVID's over. Like to try to get through COVID while it's down so that I have that successful business and then somebody managing it while I focus on my real estate career now.
Amazing. Amazing.
It's hefty, I know. Thanks.
That's a great goal. Anybody else got goals they want to share? Big goals, guys. Dream big. What you got?
Luna again. So one of my goals is to literally pay off all of my debt and to pay off my mortgage by 2030, which the maturity date on a year on my mortgage is like 2046. So those are some big goals, but I want my money to be mine and not belong to somebody else anymore.
I like it. That's good stuff. Well, so let's talk about my big goals, because I'm just going to be a little extreme here. I'm not looking to be the next Gary Keller, but maybe like underneath him. You know what I'm saying? Like my goals consist of it is beyond real estate. It is growing people's passion, coaching, inspiring, and just trying to help everybody be awesome. Like there is a lot of money in this world, and it's mostly controlled by 1% of the population, right? Because that other 99% of the population doesn't know that they can obtain that as well. So my big goal is to use my real estate career and turn it into a platform to help build and grow others. So Thomasina is my next level. She's my next inspiration. And then I want to grow from there. I'm assuming as I'm growing, she's growing too. So I plan on just following in her footsteps, like right behind her, and until she doesn't want to drag me along anymore. And then I'll figure out something new. But right now, Thomasina is my next level. I want to be her, and then we'll grow from there. So there is no such thing as a small goal, guys. Like you don't have to sit there and feel like you're asking too much to dream big. Some of us came from very humble beginnings, and there's no reason in this world on why we can't be more successful and get what we want out of this life. So don't ever be ashamed of your goals. Be proud of them. They're very obtainable, and we're going to figure out how to get there. Okie dokies. So anybody else want to share their goals? What am I touching? My computer is smarter than me, guys. I touched something. Anybody else?
Hey, it's Sam. I would like to make enough that Ben could maybe get a job down here and stop traveling. That's my big goal, to match that income to make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be able to expand our dog daycare and then maybe build our dream home.
Nice. Notice she did not say for Ben to be a house husband. She just said,
no, he's still got to work.
No house husbands here.
If I can't be one, he can't be one.
Does anybody want to build generational wealth where you're buying properties for your kids and you're teaching them how to not go through the same struggles as you? Is that on here at all?
That's me. Hey guys, it's Shelly. Sorry. My goal is to be able to leave my full-time job completely this year. You currently hear a conference call that I'm on right now at the same time. That's why I'm kind of quiet. So I have to listen to both. But yeah, my goal is to be able to leave full-time, also being able to be the first homeowner in my family, as well as securing that for other families and people who don't necessarily grow up learning about home ownership. So definitely, I plan to reach my goal this year. I'm going to speak that into the atmosphere because I don't want to juggle both. I kind of just want to completely do real estate.
Fantastic. So Let's name off 3 things. If everybody can at least give me one thing, what are you hoping to learn from this particular class? What are you hoping to get out of this?
I'm looking for like the yellow brick road, if you will. Like I need something to follow that gives me the confidence and basically reminds me constantly that this is what I'm doing and what I want next, instead of getting discouraged when you've made 30 phone calls and everyone tells you to get out.
Yeah, nice little roadmap for your vision board. Has anybody made a vision board for 2021 or ever?
I definitely have made them ever because I used to follow The Secret. I say I used to, but I mean, I was like pretty ridiculous, like a cult follower of The Secret.
I love The
But
Secret.
yeah, those vision boards are powerful. Like, and I actually, made it and accomplished a few of the things on the vision board. So I will definitely be doing one of those again. I love arts and crafts.
We could always do a vision board if y'all are interested in stuff like that. We can plan a time at the office. It would be nice for us to get it done before the end of the month because it's already 2021. So if you guys are interested in that, just let me know and we'll get together and we'll put up a good vision board. Vision board can be short-term goals. It could be long-term goals. It could be simple, cheesy stuff. It could be vacation. It literally can be whatever you want, but it gives you something visual to focus on while you're doing your goal setting. What are some other things that you are hoping to get out of this course?
I would say like a structure of running the business. I know sometimes when you're new, things can kind of seem all over the place. So I think my goal leaving this training today would be like developing a structure, kind of like having a framework,
Yes.
something to build from. Yeah.
Excellent.
And putting a game plan together as to exactly what I'm doing. I want to get out of my comfort zone this year. I really want to get into video marketing, and I know it's up to me, but these are things that I've been researching, and I think that's the way to go.
Fantastic. All right, so we're going to complete a business plan and we're going to commit to following your written path. That's the goal here. So you're going to share it with, if you have a coach, you have a mentor, you have a significant other, whoever it is that is your cheerleader and helping you get moving in this industry, that's who you're going to share your business plan with. The reason why you want to do this is accountability. You cannot get around that. But I will also express how upbuilding and uplifting it is to be doing business and working towards your goals around somebody else who is also doing business and working towards their goals. It's very inspiring and motivating to be around these people. Like every time we do a call day or we do one of these classes in person or whatever the case may be, I'm always pumped and hyped and ready to go. And it never fails. After I go do something like this, then I get another client. I don't know why it lines up that way. It's the secret. It's the universe. It's just bringing it to me. So you put that energy out there, people will feed off of that and they will want to build and be around you. I know Una and Samantha, actually, they're together all the time. So you have to admit, like, some of their successes being built off of each other because they're vibing. Does anybody else get that?
Honestly, so I completely agree with you. Sam and I do spend a lot of time together. And what's kind of funny is now our husbands are complaining that we're always talking about work. Whenever something positive happens, we're texting each other 11 o'clock at night, even if the other one is sleeping or whatever, just to like share that positivity, that happiness, and keep each other driving ahead.
That's awesome. If y'all don't have at least one person in your life complaining that you talk about real estate too much, then you are not talking about real estate enough. Like, It should literally be coming out of your mouth like clockwork. People talk about their job all the time, but it's only annoying because it's real estate, right? Because for whatever reason, people want to be annoyed by something that they're not achieving at that time, but they will come around, because when they are ready, guess who they're going to call? And if you're not talking about it, how do they know to even call you? So if you're not getting somebody upset that you talk about it too much, you're not talking about it enough. All right. So we're going to be powered by our big why, our big life. It's your purpose, your mission. It fuels your focus and your energy, and it powers your action. It's important to have your big why. If your big why is, leaving your current job or sustaining your family so that somebody else can get a job closer because, he can't be a house husband, or if you're looking to put your kids through college, buy a house, whatever your big why is, that it has to be big enough to power your action, to give you focus. So if you still find yourself without the energy to be working towards your goal, your why is not big enough. And you need to figure out what you have to do in your life to make your why bigger. It's what drives you. So if you are not motivated every single day when you look at your big why to be working towards your goal, it's not big enough. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yep.
All right, big whys. So look, they got Mount Everest up here because they want you to know. So what I want y'all to do in your own time, because I'm using a lot of time just to chat it up with y'all, and I want to get focused on some of this stuff. You want to fill this out, your someday goal. If your someday goal is to buy a house in the mountains or buy a house on the beach so you can retire, or start your own brokerage, or I don't know, buy an island, whatever your someday goal. And then your 5-year goal, something that you want obtained within 5 years. So if you are looking to pay off your house like Una is, that might be a 5-year goal for her. It might be 10-year, however you want to feel. It's not a someday goal because it's a lot more tangible. It's a lot closer than someday. So you would want to write your goals here. And then your 1-year goal. This is going to be your little income bracket, guys. If you are looking to, close 50 houses next year, or make 50,000 or 100,000, or pay off your debt, like that can definitely be a 1-year goal, unless you're trying to pay off student loans, and that's a different story. But like your other debt, your student loans might be a 5-year goal. I don't know. Some of you guys might, y'all might be a someday goal too. I don't really know. I don't have student loans. I was lucky enough to have kids early, so I got to go to college for free. That's not fair, but it happened. So I need y'all to laugh with my jokes. It's like radio silent. Oh my God. All right. Anyways, so 1-year goal, that's going to be something that you want to achieve in 2021. And then let's talk about your right now, daily, weekly, and monthly goals. These goals are the breakdown. If you haven't realized that yet, the reason why you have your arrows going down is because what you are doing right now will eventually get you to your someday goal. So you want to figure out, first of all, where you're working from. Get your goals up there. If you don't have a someday goal, or you don't have a 5-year goal, that's totally fine. If you have a 1-year goal and you need to work down, let's focus on that, because trust me, your dreams will grow as you grow. So what can you do right now to get to your 1-year goal? That's what we're going to start breaking down. Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so the economic goal is a formula that describes the relationship between a series of activities and specific outcomes they produce. It shows you where your money comes from, where it goes, and how much is left over for you. So in this guide is your economic outline. This is a model right here. It's a few pages back. We're going to go over it. It's going to help you break down what it is that you're doing and how you're going to get there. Your lead generation model is a plan for where your money comes from, your lead generation activities. It is a companion to the economic model since leads are fuel to the economic engine of your business, right? So you'll need to generate X number of leads to get X, Y number of net income, right? And then your budget. So the biggest thing that I could teach any new agent here is stay in your budget. We have a tendency, everybody says you can't make money without spending money, which is true, but by no means should you sink your ship trying to make money. Like, you need to make sure that you are staying within reason and that whatever you're investing your money in is actually going to pay off. Does that mean every time that you do a Facebook lead, if it does not work, you should stop doing Facebook leads? No, that means deciding how much you can comfortably afford to spend towards marketing, invest in that for 3 to 6 months. If it's generating business, you're doing well. If it's not generating business, then you need to change it up and try something different. But you do have to commit to it for at least 3 to 6 months to genuinely know whether or not that's working. But be smart about it. When I first got into real estate, I bought 1,000 plastic cups with the logo of my brokerage on it and my name on it, thinking, oh, I can make pot buys out of this. And I threw 1,000 cups away. So don't do that. So your organizational model is a plan for hiring help and talent as your business grows to help you grow your business. And then your expansion model is a plan to apply your systematized business model in additional locations. This model will not be covered in this course, so you're not going to work on that. This is like the last part of it, and we're going to be mostly focusing on these first 3. So, any questions yet? Dive it in. All right, so this is a rough draft of an economic model and where they wanted, so it, like I said, it's based off this Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, guys. So that's why you see $1 million right here, because some of us, our goals is to eventually be netting $1 million, not grossing. So this is broken down from that sense of it. So as you see these numbers, you're like, well, how did they get these numbers? Well, this is going to actually tell you how to like break it down as well. So don't feel a little overwhelmed by seeing these numbers. So what you're going to do, let me find my directions too, because I can't read along and show you guys at the same time. So look that over while I pull out my directions real quick. It's in here. It might be in my other book.
Can someone play the Jeopardy song, please?
It's in your workbook. Page 19 is the directions on how to break this down, right? So you're going to begin by writing your net income. Some of you said that 100,000 is your goal. Some of you are 55. Whatever your goal net income is, you're going to write that in this top line. And then you're going to take your net income and you're going to divide it by 40% or 0.4. And that is going to get your total gross income. Your total gross income. And you're going to write that number right there. So this means basically before all your expenses, this is how much money you need to make to get to here. So that 40%, where did they get that from? So what they did is they decided how much it was going to take out of your how much it was going to take out of your gross income to get you to that net income. So if you take these 3 numbers here, it should total the 2.5 million, right? So your operating expenses, and this is where you guys can figure out how to keep your budget in place. Your operating expenses is going to be stuff like how much you're paying for your gas, your marketing, all of that stuff is going to fall into operating expenses. And your cost of sale is actually like your MLS, your hurrah, stuff like that. And all of that's broken down in the book. So if I happen to be lying to you and they say something different, go with the book. So you're going to take your you're going to take your net income, you're going to divide it by 0.4 or 40% to get your total GCI. And then you're going to multiply your GCI by 0.3 to get your operating expense. And your operating expense and your cost of sell should be 30% of each. So that number is going to double right here. And then you're going to take your average commission. So this is your goal, guys. So this is how much you want to do in gross commission income to get to your goals. So let's figure this out in a more reasonable number, because maybe that 2.5 million is a little intimidating. So let's say you want to make 100,000. You're going to times that by 0.4. Excuse me. Divide. I always want to do it backwards. 100,000 divided by 0.4, that gives you 250,000 in gross commission income. And then you're going to multiply that by the 0.3, and that gives you 75,000 for your operating expense, and then 75,000 for your cost of sale. Is everybody with me so far? So just take away these zeros. So that gives you a more tangible number. So let's say, what is your average commission amount? So if you are selling the $300,000 house, what is your average commission? Or 200,000 if you want to do easy math. What's 3% of 200,000? So if we plug in $200,000 and we times that by 0.3 or 3%, what are we getting? 0.03, guys. $6,000. That's your gross commission for a $200,000 house. So if we want to call that our average commission, that's what we're going to put there. Now that doesn't include your broker split, right? Because that's going to be part of your cost to sell. Because if you're on a 70-30 split, there you go. So I did say that backwards. Your MLS and your RAIN and all that stuff is all in operating expense. Cost of sale is what you pay into your brokerage. But we work for a brokerage that gives us a cap, right? So after we pay into our cap and cap out, then we get 100%. So that will go down after a while. So we'll put $6,000 right there, or for the sake of this model, they got 7,150. Then we're going to divide your GCI by your average commission split, and that's going to give you how many units you need to sell. So if we're at that 200,000, so if we take our 250 that we need to gross, if we're trying to make 100,000, and we divide that by $6,000 for our average commission split, our total units is 41.6666667. So 42 units.
Easy on that 666, girl.
7 in there. I threw 7 in there. 7. So 42 units to hit that 100,000 if your average commission price is $6,000. Everybody with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
If I've lost anybody, we get to spend more time on this. This class is for you.
Did you go over the average price point for a home in Virginia Beach?
Sure did. Manish and Akira.
I knew it. She's so good. I missed it because I had to jump off for Kara's meeting, but I knew you would.
Yep, they do average of 285. The average sales price in Virginia Beach is 285. Is that correct? Isn't that what you guys told me?
Yes.
Yep, that's correct right now. It was 230. So watch it possibly go down a little bit now that our inventory is low. So it is 285 right now. 230 is usually what it sits at, just so you know.
Fantastic.
I would average it to 250 because 230 is the low and 285 is the high. So 250 is a good benchmark.
I like those numbers.
I just like to hear Nikki talk, so.
Did you know that she used to do commercial art or something along those lines before she got into
Yeah, she was a commercial artist before she did real estate. Yes. I've seen her artwork in her house. It's very nice, and she loves the color yellow like I do. So I love it.
Fantastic.
And elephants are good luck. Y'all just need to know that. Y'all need to know elephants are good luck.
I love elephants, so that works for me. All right, so now that we got what our total units are for our goal, now we need to break it down to figure out how many of each side. Now, if you've ever spoken to Bill Crespo, you know that the money is in the listings. So can anybody tell me, if you get a listing and you do it right, on average, how many buyers should you get off that listing?
2.
At least 4.
Nikki says 4. I've always heard 2, but but that's also why they're doing double the numbers of everybody else. So if you do it right, you should get at least 2, or in Nikki's case, you should get at least 4, right? So you want to figure out how many listings do you have to get how many buyers you want off of it to reach your goal here. Or guys, if you want to only work with listings, that's totally fine. If you want to only work with buyers, that's totally fine. This is where you need to iron out where you want to focus your business on. If you want to focus on mostly buyers, then you're going to need, 350 or 42 buyers that close. So it's important that we look at these numbers and how they're broken down. So,
And think if it takes 100 calls to have one closing, how many calls are you going to have to make divided by the year? So 365 divided by however many of those are, you got to make them every day, guys. Every day. Right, Nikki?
Yes, ma'am. You got it. Just get on those phones.
So right now they have it broken down in a 50-50. So we'll stick to 50-50 for easy math. So 50% of their total units sold is going to be listings and 50% is going to be buyers. Now, as you see these numbers, they're very similar, but they also fluctuate. So we're going to break down this list and we're going to talk about it. So if 50% of 350 here is going to be 175 buyers sold. See the keywords over here? And then you're going to divide it by your sold conversion rate, which gives you the total buyers actually needed. So they're saying that when you have 250 buyers, your sold conversion rate, and this is the national average, is 70%. That's going to turn into 175 actually sold and closed. So remember, they went on 30 appointments and they got 15 listings out of it and they closed X amount. So that's what we're getting at here. So if you are trying to reach, let's say for the sake of our 100,000, we have 42 units that we need to close, and you divide that by 2, that gives us 21 for the buy side and 21 for the sell side. So if you take your 21 and you divide that by the 70%, that means that you need to actually have 30 buyers. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So 30 buyers that you're working with is going to generate 21 closed buyers. And now we're going to figure out how many appointments do we need to go on to get those 30 buyers. So you're going to divide that by another 70% because that is what they have determined the national average to be. What does that give me? Anybody working along with me? That's okay. It's 42.85714, blah, blah, blah. Let's round that up. 43 appointments that you need to go on so that you can get 30 buyers so that you can close 21 buyers. Does that make sense? So you're going to take your 43 appointments and you're going to divide that by how many months? I don't know why they got their 26 month here. Oh, no, that's how many they're telling you. So you take your 43 and you divide that by 12. That's 4 appointments a month. Can anybody do 4 appointments a month?
Yep,
How many appointments a week is that?
1.
One buyer's appointment a week, guys. Who can meet with one buyer a week?
I would love to.
All of us.
That sounds very achievable, doesn't it?
Mhm.
So let's look at the difference over here on the sell side. The difference is the conversion rate. Your conversion rate is actually higher when you're sitting in front of your sellers than it is when you're sitting in front of buyers. Can anybody who's been doing this for a while, or anybody who wants to speculate on why the conversion rate for a seller is higher than for a buyer?
Yeah, they don't have to get pre-qualified. They already have something to sell. That's one. I'll give you one. Now y'all come up with the rest.
That's a very good one. Anybody else?
Thomasina took the easy one.
Honestly, it's an easy one that I didn't even think about, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was one that wasn't even on her list, so I know she didn't have that.
If you got the appointment with them already, they're a motivated seller.
Excellent point. Excellent point. What's another reason why buyers may not choose to buy or work with you, or whatever the case may be? What's another reason? Does anybody know what if you take all of the sales of real estate, what ratio of that is first-time buyers? Anybody want to guess?
70?
50?
80%.
42.657%.
That sounds like a Google number.
I just reached around and pulled it out. I have absolutely no idea. I thought it sounded good.
It does sound good. It does sound good.
Girl, you
Thank
kill
you.
me.
Tell you from my personal experience on the amount of buyers that I worked with this year, that it is a very high ratio of it being a first-time home buyer. So what is one of the objections that we always get when we're meeting new people who have never bought real estate in their entire life and they have no idea what they're doing? What's an objection?
They usually say that their credit's probably not as good.
So that falls into the getting pre-qualified.
They need to trust you.
Exactly. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. Thank you, Regina. They don't trust. They don't trust. Most buyers are so afraid of getting advantage taken up, right? So that's why as agents, we have to fully educate ourselves with the home buying process so that we can let them know that if they don't trust anything, they can trust you. And you do that by coming to classes and studying your contracts and meeting with your lenders and really understanding the entire process and working with people who've been in the industry longer so that they can give you tips and tricks on how to convert them. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, so now that we've determined how many appointments that we need to go on to get to, well, hold on, let's fix this real quick because I want to make sure that we know how many listing appointments that we need to go on, because it's going to be slightly less than what we need to do for the buyers. So if we get to, let me just work a little backwards here. 20 divided by 70 divided by 70 again. Nope, set up 75. See, I was about to mess up our numbers. So we have 42 buyer appointments, or 43 buyer appointments if we round up, and then we've got 40 listing appointments. So if you go to one buyer appointment a week and one listing appointment a week, guys, you're going to surpass your $100,000 goal if the average price is $200,000. The average price is more than that, then you don't have to go on as many appointments. How comfortable does everybody feel that they can get at least one listing appointment a week?
I have a great mentor, so I have faith that she's going to help me do that. Yay!
That's why the conversion rate for listings is higher, because getting the actual appointment is smaller. So So now that you have your platform on where you need to work, the rest of this model is actually going to help you generate and get into that business, right? Because now you know where you need to go. So if you were working along, can anybody give me some numbers on how many appointments they have to go on this year, 2021, to hit their goals?
Times 12.
So if you do rough math, right, we did that, the numbers that I ran through was based off 100,000, right? So I have to, if I want to double my numbers and I hit 200,000, I have to go on 2 buyer appointments a week and 2 listing appointments a week to hit my numbers. If we go with that 50-50 model.
Yeah, 48 appointments for the year.
Yep. If Munish and Nikita want to hit their 500,000, how many appointments do they need to go on?
I'm working that. One appointment a day.
1 appointment a day. They're going to be busy. 365 days a year, or are you getting the weekends off?
I'm gonna take weekends off. I would like to suggest something for the new agents. Try and go for FISBO appointments. Those are a lot easier to get. You can definitely get your foot in the door, and they are less intimidating.
Nice. Has anybody attempted to go see FISBOs on this call?
Everyone that I called on the list, I pretty much got hung up on, so I got to work on my approach.
It's most likely just going to be your energy. You put that energy out there that you're going to find the right person, they're going to be on the.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about the benefits of having these numbers. So this provides you the number of appointments and units sold to meet your goal, right? It's a basic breakdown. Now, if you've been doing business, you're going to want to tweak those numbers. So if you know your average house price is 200 less or more, you're going to want to tweak those numbers, because the last thing I'm going to do is let you lie to yourself and tell you need to go on 24 appointments a year and you're going to make 100,000. I'm not going to let you do that, right? So you want to have realistic goals here, and this is how we're going to get that. This also is going to reveal your conversion rates and identifies areas for improvement. So if the national average conversion rate is 70% and you are above that or below that, then you already see some different areas that you can tweak. If you're not at 70%, then it's a good idea to get with your mentor, your team leader, somebody that's a veteran agent that's been doing it a while, to really see what you can do to work on and improve your conversion rate. Because if you're getting in front of these people and you're not closing the deal, you need to figure out what you can do to get out of your own way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Our goal here is to master our methods over our business, because if we master our methods, that means we are hitting our goals. And you're going to keep focus on the profit first perspective. This is why we want to make sure that we keep our operating expenses 30% or less. If you go above 30%, you want to make sure that it's going to be worth it. But if you have an idea to keep your operating expenses 30% or less, then you know whether or not you're losing money on a deal. Now, we as agents, I know I have some stories where I pretty much just paid to sell somebody's house versus actually making money off of it. It happens. So don't kick yourself in the butt too hard, but just learn from your mistakes, tweak it, and keep moving forward, because it's not charity. Yes, we love helping people, but this is not charity. You still got bills to pay, right? And keep your budget model in line. So when you're approaching your next year, you want to make sure that you have an overall budget for the year, figure out how that divides up into a monthly thing, figure out how you can divide that up into weekly and daily events, right? So when's the prime real estate time? Like I always try to tell people there's no season in real estate, but there's definitely a season in real estate. But when's the prime real estate time? When's the market's at its hottest?
Spring?
When it's warm out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's when it starts, right? So around March, April, we start seeing more houses pop up. Summertime is hot, and then it starts to die off when?
Fall.
Fall, right? When school gets back into session, right?
Yep.
Starts getting colder. It's not
Kids
that.
are back in school.
Would anybody agree that we have less buyers around that time, or is it just because we have less inventory?
If you have less buyers, it's because we have less inventory.
Yeah, so it's kind of, we're a military area, guys, so we always have people coming in and out, but it always seems to be that we have less inventory around the winter time. So that's something that we could try to work on. Like, a lot of listed sellers don't realize that they have more selling power in the winter time because they have less competition. It's not that we have less buyers, because they're still there. We're just selling less because there's less stuff to sell. Good numbers to know, right? So when you are figuring out your budget model, where do you think you should be spending the most money? Do you think it should be evenly throughout the year? Do you think you should focus on more spending when you're in the hot season? Or do you think you should focus more season spending on the slow season? I'd like to hear everybody's personal opinion about that, or what they've done in the past that has worked.
I would think towards the end of the busy season to get your name in front of people for the slower season.
I'm gonna go with consistently, so people constantly see your name out there.
Manish, Nikki, y'all have an opinion? Are they still there? Any of my veteran agents up here that can give me their opinion on when they think they should be spending money? No, they're all gone. They left me. That's okay. What about you, Samantha? How much money would you say, or how would you go about approaching, because you have two businesses, and I don't know if anybody knows this, but Samantha owns Positive Vibes. It's a doggy daycare. It's super cute, but she literally piggybacks marketing for both real estate and the doggy daycare at the same time. And would you say that you spread the love evenly throughout the year, or do you focus on a particular time?
So far, I feel like I've been doing marketing evenly throughout the year, because just to keep it going, I don't want to fall off. But I feel like in the fall, I was trying to do a little more to make sure I had stuff going on in the winter.
So when you start focusing on the winter, so when would you say the winter starts, and when do you start marketing for the winter?
I felt like the winter started in like November, so I started marketing in like August, September.
Yeah,
because it takes. I was gonna say, I feel like it takes about like a month or two sometimes for buyers to get fully pre-approved and get shopping and all that.
So just understand, guys, whatever y'all do marketing wise now is for business 3 to 6 months from now. So I agree with every single one of y'all on y'all's approach, and I don't think that there's necessarily a right or a wrong way. You just have to figure out what you're doing. So if you're doing stuff, I think you should be doing stuff consistently throughout the year, every single time, because so many times what we see is agents get busy during the hot season, during the summertime or whatever, and they're so busy working that they are not marketing. So when the winter time does roll around, they don't have any business because they were not marketing, they were not prospecting during the hot season because they were too busy, right? So you definitely want to spread the love throughout the year, but you also want to focus in on certain avenues of marketing during those prime seasons, whether you're focusing on getting listings during the winter time because their inventory is so low, or you're focused on getting buyers in the summertime because the market is so hot. Whatever the case may be, just make sure you have an ironed out plan and a way to keep track of those numbers on what you're doing to make sure it's worthwhile. That way you can create benchmarks for your team, and keep everything going in your economic decisions so that you understand what all you're doing and what's working and what's not working. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about the lead generation. Like, what is everybody doing to try to generate business? If you're not doing
I talk with my sphere a lot.
So elaborate a little bit on that, because a lot of people do not utilize their personal sphere, and it's because they need to get out of their own way. So tell them what you do and how do you utilize your personal sphere.
I just talk about it a lot, that we, you know, if I have a deal going on, or just anytime we're out, we're talking about work, I try to talk about real estate too. And, you know, if they have any friends, I'm like, hey, do you know anyone who maybe is thinking or, you know, looking? I do a lot of talking about it on my personal Facebook, like separate sometimes from my business Facebook too, to get out to my friends. But I really do, like, once I hear somebody is, you know, hey, I have a friend who's thinking about selling, I'll try to reach out to that person. And that's been pretty much all of my buyers, except for one, has been somebody I've known through somebody else. And my listings too. My listings were all from my sphere.
Now, tell everybody how long you've lived here.
I've lived here in Hampton for just over 2 years. I'm originally from Boston.
And you came from the restaurant industry as well, correct?
Yeah, I worked in the restaurant for 10 years.
So one thing, an excuse
go.
that I used to use that
Thank you.
I didn't know anybody. That's why I didn't utilize my personal sphere, because I didn't know anybody. Like, I literally built my business from the ground up. I was in the restaurant industry, but I wasn't allowed to fraternize because I was management. So I had no social life, guys. So, but Samantha, who comes in here, and I've lived here for a while. I've lived on the East Coast since I was 13. So I really have no excuse, right? But Samantha has built her business with being new to the area. Like, she's been here, what you say, 2 years or 3 years?
2 years.
So been here for such a short amount of time, but put herself out there. And with somebody being new to the area, you would think that you would probably tell yourself, is she a trusty resource? And yet she is, because she has put herself in this. She is fully taken in the real estate market. She researches her neighborhood. She's always walking her dogs and looking at FSBOs that are in her neighborhood, see people flipping houses. Whatever the case may be, she has fully involved herself, and she has utilized every moment to talk about real estate. That's how you're going to drum up business with your personal sphere, because it's not necessarily who you know, it's who you come in contact with. And a lot of y'all might be a little intimidated about talking about it with your friends and families because they know that you're new. The more you talk about it, the more they're going to see you as a trusted resource. They're going to be like, oh, you know what? She really knows her stuff. She knows what she's doing. Like, she's out here killing it. I totally would trust her. And even if they wouldn't trust you to do their own personal business, they're going to talk about it with their friends and family when they come across it. So don't ever sell yourself short. And if you really want to look at it, just look at it as practice. I'm going to practice talking about real estate with my friends and family. That way you're ready when you meet a stranger, right?
Yeah, and post about it on Facebook too. Any little thing you do, like if you go out for one showing, take a picture of yourself, or like something in the house that I always like. I like pocket doors, so I'll always take a picture of pocket door if I'm at a showing, just to be like, hey, look, I'm out, I'm working, I look busy, and people want to see that you're busy and working, and then they'll become more trusting of you.
Exactly. What are some other forms of prospecting? We have a whole list here, guys. What are some other forms? Has anybody tried anything on here?
So I just got my name tag because I'm very new. So ever since I had it on the weekends, I don't necessarily like get dolled up, but I'm cute. And I rock my name tag at the grocery store, in Kohl's and Aldi. Like, No one has said anything to me yet, but they will. And I definitely have my business cards in my wallet just in case, so I could shove it in their face, give them a couple, right? And we also had recently joined like a social club in the area. For those Hampton people, it's the Noir. So I just was blessed with some beautiful clothes, and I cannot wait to go in there on the next one, which is actually, I think it's this weekend, the next event. So we're gonna go in there, look cute, and talk up life in general and throw real estate out.
Absolutely. I have a Harry Potter shirt on today, guys, because I'm a troll and I'm not leaving my house today. But I have real estate t-shirts, wearing your name tag. Like, it's not gonna be your sole providing business resource. It's not, right? But if you are not utilizing every opportunity, then you're closing your door to potential business. I have gotten leads off of my t-shirt. As a matter of fact, I sold this cute little adorable couple a house earlier this year because I was in Hobby Lobby spending my commission check faster than I could make it. And I had a real estate t-shirt on. And she was like, "Oh, you do real estate?" And I was like, "Sure do. Here's my business card." And at first she talked about getting a rental, but I converted her into a buyer and I helped them buy a cute little townhouse off of a t-shirt. And I did happen to see her, 3 or 4 times in a weekend, but we won't talk about that. Just know my room looks cute because of her. So these things, these methods, they work. It's not going to give you business every single day. It's not going to hit your, 42 units a year. But if you get 1 to 2 deals off of it and you're just wearing a cute t-shirt, like, why wouldn't you do that? That's free. Like, I paid like $8 for my shirts. Right?
Steffi, oh, you know how you wear that your name tag out? When I first got licensed, one of my old regulars, he's been a realtor forever. He's like 70 now, still a realtor. And he said the best way he gets business is going out with his name tag on. He's like, I always wear my name tag, always wear it out. You never know who you're gonna bump into. And he's like, even if I go out for happy hour, because he used to go out for happy hour almost every night, and he always has name tag on. And he said he got so many leads from just sitting at the bar wearing his name tag.
That is awesome.
I will tell y'all this story about this agent, and I'm horrible with names, and I regret not knowing her name. I met her, it's probably about 2.5, 3 years ago. It was at a hurrah event, and she was an older agent. She's been doing this since, carbon copy paper or whatever. And she told me that she always wears her name tag, and she always puts it on upside down or wrong in some kind of sense, whether it's crooked, it's wrong or whatever, because it always drives one person to sit there and tell her, "Oh, your name tag is wrong or backwards or upside down," whatever the case may be. And every single time she always uses that as an opening to talk about real estate and just goes on and on and on. And she has generated so much business off of that alone. So if you want to be quirky, put your name tag on upside down.
I can be awkward. I can do that.
Like the story of my life.
Right. I live that. It's awesome.
All right, so let's talk about some of these prospectings and how we can really make this work. I'm going to try to wrap this up within 20 minutes because our class is over at 11, and then we're going to do the second half of our course next week, same day, same time. So tune in, right? So let's talk about some different types of prospecting. So we've got the face-to-face where you are out and about, like Stephanie was talking about, with her name tag, being affiliated with different groups within your town. Samantha having her own small business. I know Regina uses her dance studio to open the doorway a lot, and that is actually very effective. I've watched her sit there and get 3 strong buyer leads off of dance people because they're getting ready to get married, and everybody's getting married wants to buy a house, have kids and a dog and all kinds of great stuff, right? So that's good in-person stuff on how we can generate it. We've talked a little bit about for sale by owners and expireds. So you can get the phone numbers for sale by owners through Zillow. We can go through that a different time, but if you pull up Zillow, Truly, or anything along those lines, their phone numbers are actually on that listing. You just got to scroll down to where it says property owner and get the number. Nothing else about them is on there, but you can pull the tax records through RAIN off of the MLS and sit there, click on Real List and pull up the property address, and then boom, now you have the homeowner's name. That's free, right? You can comb Zillow all day for free, and you just do a little bit extra research and get the numbers that way. There's also different platforms that you can pay for to get phone numbers of these people that include the expireds, withdrawals, and stuff like that. This is where that do not call list comes into play, though. If you use Vulcan 7 or My Plus Leads or anything along those lines, it will have the little code on there whether or not you can call them, but it has their property address, their name, and their contact information, which could be phone numbers and email addresses. So excuse me, guys, my coffee is fighting me right now. It's ridiculous getting old because everything gives you heartburn. So some other forms of face-to-face could be not so much with COVID, right? You want to make sure that you're taking these into consideration. But has anybody farmed a neighborhood or considered farming a neighborhood or can tell the group what farming is?
I heard a version of that yesterday in training that I wanted to do, where you actually go out and video like an area and talk about it and pull up, you know, comps or things for sale in that area and talk about it, so that hopefully people you're connected to, you know, see that you're an agent A and that stuff is available, and hopefully, you know, since they're your friends, they'll reach out to you of what is coming up in their area. Is that what you mean?
So that is an aspect of it. So farming a neighborhood, if you do it correctly, you're super thorough with it, right? So you can, the neighborhood that you choose to farm can be built off however you want to build it, right? It could be a neighborhood that you grew up in. It could be a neighborhood you live in. It could be a neighborhood that you just want to sell in because they got $500,000 houses, whatever the case may be on why you choose a particular neighborhood. The goal is to be the expert of that neighborhood. So you're going to want to do like what Regina said, and you want to do the research and figure out how many listings have sold, what's been on the market, how long it stays on the market, the average house price, all of those good things. You can go door to door and give out information. You can send out mailers. If you have a listing that's in the area, you could go through and say, hey, we just listed a property in your neighborhood. Thought I'd share some information with you about it. Or you could go through and let them know when you're about to have an open house or when you sold a property. All of these reasons are good reasons to get the neighborhood involved, and it's less intrusive when you have an actual reason to be in that neighborhood. If you are just walking the neighborhood just to walk the neighborhood, you want to make sure that you're just doing informational things. But if you know of a listing in that neighborhood, even if it's not yours, but it's our brokerage, just be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know there's a house listed by Keller Williams in this neighborhood. This is what it's listed for, however you want to do it. But you want to have a very systematic plan. Has anybody ever thought about farming in an apartment complex and what y'all's approach would be to that?
You could do,
I haven't, but that sounds like a great idea.
yeah, why renting when you could buy, and let me show you exactly what you, it'd be cheaper.
Right. Stop paying somebody else's mortgage. Is the nice little saying.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in an apartment complex, you know everybody there is a renter, right? So taking that approach to convert them from renting to buying is
that a thing?
Opportunity.
Why do you think we couldn't go into apartment buildings?
Yeah.
So you want to, if it's gated community or whatever, you can always stop and you can talk to the people at the front desk. This could be one of those approaches where it's like ask and apologize later. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know all the details of it. But if a friend of yours is living in the apartment complex or whatever, like whatever the approach you want to be, and this could be mailers as well. There's no law against you mailing them something. So if you don't want to go door to door or put door hangers, because you know how the pizza place or the Chinese place puts a little menu on the door. If you don't think that that's allowed, then you can actually do it with mailers and send them a little 5x6, 4x6 postcard, giving them some information on how to entice them to become qualified to buy. Because I don't know a single person that loves living in the apartment complex they live in. Everybody's got some kind of complaint, whether it's parking or neighbors or people aren't taking care of the apartment like they're supposed to, whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of military. If you go to an apartment complex that's near military base, guess what, guys? VA buyers all day long. How do y'all feel about that? Anybody willing to try that out?
I want to try it out. I want to do mailers for certain ones.
I'll do some mailers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's plenty of platforms that are available that will help you pull all of their addresses and stuff so that you can put those mailers together. You just have to design a nice little template through command, which they already have some already. Just tweak it with your information, and then you can set it up and send it out.
I will say I put together a, a little video through command for a certain neighborhood. And all you do is put the neighborhood in through the thing, and it really puts together a really cute video that I posted to my Facebook business page
Excellent.
with information on, you know, what's for sale there, the average rate, the average home price. And it was real easy.
Do you have access to MLS? Like, do you have RAIN already?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Can you share your link on Facebook with us so we can check that out? I would love to see
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Yeah.
So here's some other opportunities. So that neighborhood farming that has a tendency to be the door to door, or you could do the mailers and stuff. That also works. How many have done any type of community outreach? Does anybody do anything with their community? I know Samantha does. She's been partnering with a local church near her shop.
I'm working on something now.
Tell us about it.
So I used to actually do this for the dance studio to get other local businesses involved with knowing each other and helping other, mostly I targeted female businesses because when I first opened the studio, when I went to networking stuff and B&I meetings, I noticed a lot of women weren't that confident of getting up and talking about themselves, while the men overpowered the meeting. They were much stronger speakers and everything. So I was reaching out to a lot of the ladies, inviting them out to networking, which I called Coffee Talk, and we'd have meetings at the studio to help each other grow and be more confident and powerful in our businesses. And we had a really nice group going on until just things really took off with the studio with events, and we just kind of fizzled. But I'm doing my first meeting this Saturday with some of the, and we're keeping it very limited because of the fact that COVID. So I'm trying to keep the numbers small. So I'm targeting just specific women and pulling in new people so that not just, you know, for the studio to say we're still around, but to use it to branch off on the real estate business. So everybody that's coming into the studio now, I'm starting to give real estate cards and trying to convert everybody over.
Excellent. Excellent.
So I think making your own little networking group to help other businesses, even if you just did it once a month, can be very powerful.
What are some other ways to reach out to your community? This could be volunteer work, guys. It doesn't necessarily just have to be networking only.
I was approached by somebody that's putting together a website of vendors. They own their own business, construction and vendors, and they're going to have a couple of real estate people, and they would want me to be involved. So I'm getting ready to do that. And I also spoke with somebody, my banking person, to have a lunch with their mortgage person. Just to, you know, shoot the breeze, see what's going on, how I could work with them to get some leads.
Absolutely. So is anybody doing actual charitable volunteer work? Samantha, if you're still on, tell everybody about the church and the organization and the different stuff. They do all kinds of stuff. They help families. The wife organizes clothes donations.
Yeah, so my friend Wanda, she runs a nonprofit called Houses of Hope, and she supplies families that are in shelters or just in need with clothes, food. Every Christmas, we get involved with them, and she will advertise you for free on her page and her personal page on Facebook in return. So I usually do something with them, but the church next door to us at the dog daycare, I'm not a part of them. I just really like the pastor. I think he's a nice guy, and he really wants to get involved with the community here. So we've done a couple events with them. We did a small business event where we both advertised to small, like mostly like home-based businesses that don't have a brick and mortar, so they could come together and display their business. And then we kind of all got to network too with one another, because it's kind of hard to do that during COVID. We did that for both. I did for real estate and for the shop. And his wife does this past event. She collected like nice, barely used clothing, and she set up a little like boutique at the Christmas, like it was kind of like a stocking stuffer event. She set up a little like clothing racks, and you could go and basically shop. I mean, it was free, but it looked like you're going into a little boutique instead of going into a place and digging out of a box for clothes. They're really nice people, and they're always looking to connect and do different things. So we're trying to do things quarterly, and they also got me in touch with one of the city commissioners and the one for the district for the shop. And I told him I'm also a realtor, so he wants me to help like talk about and educate the area about home buying and home owning and things like that. So we're gonna try to talk about and doing something together this year.
A home buying seminar is an excellent way to get information out to an extensive amount of people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in person. Like, you could do these virtually as well. You just need to organize it and put it together so that you have a good system to the approach, so that you're getting them the right information. Has anybody done open houses yet? All my new people, have you guys tried open houses? I know Una has. She says she's been talking to people that she met through the open house.
I'm doing an open
No,
house
but I'd love to go to one.
Saturday.
Yeah, I went to one with Sam.
Yeah, so I was going to say that going to an open house with somebody who's a bit more seasoned is definitely a plus. And, giving yourself time to watch what they do, what they say, how they communicate is definitely helpful.
Has anybody shadowed me and got to ear hustle how I am with clients? And did that benefit you at all, or did I say something stupid?
Yes, yes, and yes.
I am not perfect, guys, and people love imperfect people. So don't ever be afraid to talk about something, because even if you misspeak, they're going to appreciate the fact that you're more real and honest than anything. And if the opportunity is there for you to ever shadow me, just trust me, you're more than welcome to come along. I love helping people. I love giving y'all that experience, because that same experience was bestowed on me when I first got into real estate, and it helped me be more comfortable with what I was saying, because trust me, you know more about real estate than any of these first-time buyers. So don't ever feel intimidated by talking about it. So let's talk a little bit about this middle column. So we got prospecting both in marketing, right? So we've talked a little bit about the marketing, where we talked about email campaigns, postcards, mailers, all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure how many of you guys are going to be investing in yourself on the TV or radio, like in the newspapers or, bus stops and stuff. That's kind of, LA kind of right there. I don't know if we're that big, but if you want to be that big, be that big. I mean, there's a particular brokerage that has a song that plays on the radio that, makes me want to shoot myself, but I know the jingle. So Those are
I,
things to
Yeah, I
consider.
have a friend starting a blog this month and I asked him to put me in there. So he's gonna call me with the date. But going back to the open houses real quick, I found an app because I'm doing one Thursday. It's called Open House. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with it.
I've heard of it, but I actually haven't used it.
I've used it.
I just thought it was really neat. I put all the information, I put a picture of the house. The person comes in, signs in, they ask them 4 or 5 questions, and it goes straight to your email.
Nice.
And it was free.
Look at Thomasina. She's Googling it right now. I saw her do it. You reading it? Yes, you are.
So it's when you do an open house, it is very important that you try to obtain the people that are coming in's contact information. It's for security reasons, it's for lead reasons. There's so many reasons that you can come up with to make the people feel comfortable with giving you the information. But saying security reasons, it's always beneficial because they're more apt to give it to you. But also have a conversation. Like, these people, they may not want to sit there and put their name, phone number, email address, and whether or not they've ever bought or sold a house before on your sign-in sheet. But after you talk to them for a while, they'll ease up and you'll try to, really build a rapport with them so that they feel more comfortable talking with you. Does that make sense? So let's talk about past clients. This is going to be built into your sphere. Your past clients do not necessarily need to be your past clients in real estate. If you worked with somebody in the past and they trust you already from the business that you did before, 9 times out of 10, they're going to trust you again in real estate. Una is actually a really good example of this because she is networking the crap out of her current company. Like, they see her already as a trusted resource. And even though they know she is new in real estate, they still trust her to get the job done. That speaks a lot about your integrity. So don't ever feel like because you're new in real estate that you can't get people to trust you from your past, because I've done that myself as well. Like, my family knows that I can get the job done because they see me as a hardworking, trustworthy individual. So I have no problem getting people from my past to believe that I'm the right one for them to do this, to help them with this purchase or the sale of their property. So can anybody share a moment that they've done with previous people? I can talk about me again if y'all want.
So, what I've been, let me actually go in the office. I have to keep getting up because I'm at my desk.
I hear you. You're sneaking us in. I'm with it.
Girl, I do what I have to. I'll work both jobs at the same time if I have to. So, what I do is, well, I do have I'm lucky to have a face here at Lee Bear where I interact with so many different people all day. But I started telling people about it before I even, like, when I was on chapter 3 of my course. I was like, I am studying to become a real estate agent. And it was a little bit hard because I was like, what if I fail? And then people go like, oh, I thought you were taking the course. I thought you were going to be an agent. But so I started talking about it before I even got close to the test. So really it's just, and I throw it in like, like somebody asked me, how was your holiday? I said, oh, I worked during the shutdown. And they were like, oh, you worked? I thought you were off during shutdown. And I was like, well, real estate, I got 2 jobs now. So I'm constantly talking about it. And letting people know, like, I'm working. So I'm, as a new agent, I'm working double as hard because I don't want to screw anything up for a client on my first couple of deals.
Excellent. And I do want to point out that even though you might have a full-time job, you just have to realize what has to be sacrificed. If you're trying to transition from full-time work into real estate, it can be done. There are people out there that will tell you it can't be done, but it can't. But it has to be done by somebody who's committed to getting it done. So where you normally go in from 9 to 5 and your morning before you go in, your lunchtime, your time after work, your weekends. That's the time that you got to utilize to make sure that you're putting that towards real estate. If you genuinely want to leave your job. If you don't want to leave your job, keep doing you and keep your weekends. That's totally fine. But this class is here for the people that are trying to change their future and you're trying to focus on something more than what you're doing. So you have to sacrifice that downtime that you would normally take to recoup from your current job and devote that to real estate so that you are no longer having to rely on your current job to pay your bills. It sucks, but it's worth it and it does pay off. And Una is a prime example about that. We have several different agents who are doing other full-time jobs at the same time, and they're working towards getting those up and running so that they can do real estate full-time. Does that make sense? Yes. Holly, you're so
Yes.
you're the best teacher ever. Oh my God, you guys are too much. I dedicate my life to entertaining myself. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for today because we have gone over a lot of stuff. But if you guys will take a nice little round table to kind of give me some, either it's an aha or something that you would like to cover on the next time, or any kind of feedback, give me something. Tell me my hair is ugly. I don't care. Either way, let's hear it.
I love your Harry Potter shirt.
Yeah, I want to get a real estate shirt. I've been trying to do a lot of, marketing on the internet and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, I spent 7 hours yesterday to try to convert my Facebook onto Instagram, and for the life of me, I just couldn't get it. But I did that that media that I signed up for right at You Media. And yesterday they put on my page, if you're looking for a home, the home value thing. And I was just trying to share that, and I was just getting frustrated because I was getting stuck. But I will put my video that I did from Command, I'll put it on the Keller Williams page so that you can see it. I thought it was quite cute.
Nice. I definitely want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some other ahas? Did anybody get anything out of this course that they didn't have before?
This is Shelly. I think the writing the goals down and kind of putting things on paper, that portion of it is very helpful. Sometimes when you write things down and make it plain, you're more apt to getting it done. So that's definitely a takeaway that I have. Like Una, I'm also working a full-time job. I'm currently on break going to show a house right now. So we're doing balancing acts, but eventually it'll all pay off. And as long as we keep our feet to the plow, we'll be able to leave these 9-to-5s and focus completely on a real estate career.
Fantastic. Now, how did everybody feel with the number breakdown so that you know how many deals you need to do this year to reach your
I was actually just about to say my aha was that's a difference between what I want to make and what I need to gross.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was a great eye opener to see what I need to do on a weekly basis to get to where I want to be.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm terrible with numbers, so that really helps me because I've already been working on setting my goals with other speakers and stuff, but it's like, what is my goal? What's actually possible? Because I don't know. I'm so new and what's realistic. And I feel the 2 buyers and 2 listings per week with my fabulous mentor and everybody else here, that's definitely doable. I think I could do that. So it helps a lot to see that and hear that from you guys.
Absolutely.
And I also want to say, I really appreciated the comments about Command making the videos, because I know that scares me a little. And also I'd like to see how to figure out how to share the Facebook over Instagram that was mentioned. I just created an Instagram account, so I definitely would like to know how to get that done. And I'm kind of, I meant to ask earlier, what you actually put in mailer, not mailers, the when you go around to the neighborhoods, what do you put in the door-to-door mailers?
So you can actually take a couple of different approaches with this. You could do pop buys where it's just a cute little, whether it's hand sanitizer or candy or whatever you want your pop by to be, with a cute little slogan. Most of the time there's always some kind of neighborhood market information, which you can actually pull that from command as well, guys. For anybody who doesn't have RAIN access and you don't know what a market is generating in that particular neighborhood, you can actually pull up the neighborhood in command and create just a little tidbit of information. How many properties were listed? How many is sold? What was the average price? That kind of thing. So a little bit of information about the neighborhood, and then some kind of sweet treat, or, you know, whatever you want to do with your pop buys. It could just be an informational brochure. It's really up to you. There's a couple of different things that you can do.
Can I say something else that I did was I signed up for Page Engage, and they had a sale on it. I think it was $44.99 for the year. And every day they will put a content about, you know, redesigning a home or houses or something like that on my Facebook page, just to keep my face out there. And they'll do it every single day.
Absolutely. That's amazing. You said it's $44 a year. That's cheap.
Yes, it is. 2 years ago, I paid like $80 for it. And then it popped up that there was a promotion. So I said, well, let me do it.
Nice. 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 Any more ahas from anybody? Sweet. I'm going to wrap this up so that you guys can go and generate business. We are going to go over the bottom half of this course next week. It's going to be on Wednesday at the same time, 9 a.m. It will be virtual for you guys. If we're allowed to be in the office, I will try to do it in person, because I feel like we get more engagement when people are in person. But I honestly have to thank you all for participating. You're definitely a great group, and I love the interaction because it gets my little brain going. I get to, you know, feed off of you just as much as you guys get to feed off of me. So unless you guys have any questions, y'all get to go kick ass for the rest of the day, and I will see everybody next week.
I have a quick question. How do I get this booklet?
The one that I just emailed you, or the real
You
estate?
can email it to me?
I will email it to you if I have not emailed it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I emailed it at the beginning of the class. So anybody that did not get that,
Yeah, I think I missed the
I'll
first
send it to
15
you right
minutes.
now. Is there anybody else that needs this? Just Linda?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm sending it to you right now then.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a great day.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. See sales for you, Gmail. Yes. Christine Redmond.